Hello and welcome to another weekly financial update from RTS Financial Planning. So this is where we go through some of the stories that have happened in the last week in the world of finance and also discuss some of the subjects that our investment committee are looking at as part of our RTS investment strategy. So this week the major world stock markets have all been down slightly, mainly due to fears over quarantine restrictions on travel and also fears around the global economic recovery. And I think this is what it's going to be like over the next few months. We're going to see a lot of up and downs in the stock market as investors scramble around and try to react to different economic data that comes out. This particular recession is very hard to analyse because it affects different sectors of the economy differently, and no one knows what's to come in terms of a vaccine or whether the virus is going to die out on its own. It could even resurge and there could be second waves. So it's very hard to kind of look at what's going on with companies and predict things going forward. Having said all that, the major US stock market, the S&P 500, hit its record high this week. And there was a number of factors that have contributed to this. I mean, who would have thought we'd be saying that a number of months ago whilst we're in lockdown? But basically, support from the US government and the Federal Reserve have given investors confidence in the stock market. Another factor is that the US appears to be getting control of the virus and case numbers are finally starting to come down in the US. And finally, the other big factor that's contributed to this is the US dollar. You may not have realised, but the US dollar has been falling quite significantly over the last few weeks against other currencies like the pound and the euro. And this is interesting because it makes the US stock market appear cheaper to foreign investors. So people like us, our pound will now buy more US stocks than it did previously. And over half of US companies' profits come from overseas. So when they convert their profits back into US dollars, the profits get a boost, particularly when they bring them back to the US. In the UK, the housing market's just had its best month in 10 years in July, with house sales rising 38% year on year. And more properties came onto the market than in any month since 2008, with house prices hitting record highs in a number of regions. And you may think it's the stamp duty holiday that's contributed to this, and that probably is a factor, but there's other factors too. There's been a lot of pent-up demand since the housing market was suspended since lockdown, but also people's attitudes to their house are changing, especially after going through the experience of lockdown. So for example, if you're now working from home more, you might not want to live near commuter facilities. And also, if you didn't have access to a garden during lockdown, you might now look for a house with a garden after being cramped in a flat, for example. So, a good profitable rise in housing market is good because it's quite key to the UK economy. Housing market is quite a big factor of the UK economy. Inflation in the UK also was back up to 1% this week, which is good news because we want to see prices continuing to rise steadily because it means there's economic activity going on there. But we need to be careful of this. Higher inflation can be damaging to particularly savers using bank accounts because interest rates are at record lows currently. And our investment committee are slightly worried about higher inflation going forward and are making the necessary adjustments to the RTS investment strategy. So do look and watch out for inflation because if you are saving into cash, you are effectively losing money in real terms. So if you've got a chunk of money that you're willing to put away for the longer term and you want to get a good return, you might want to consider investing that into the stock market or other real assets. And if you're not sure how to do that, do speak to a professional financial advisor. Okay, so that wraps up this week's update. I hope you found it useful. As always, do please subscribe to the RTS Investment Strategy YouTube channel because we do provide a number of videos on different subjects every week. And also, why not subscribe to our weekly email? You can get access to this via the rtsinvestmentstrategy.co.uk website. Again, that email contains lots of financial planning and investment insights and tips. So until next time, take care.